Think you know everything about Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker's buddy cop masterpiece? Think again. From a website born out of pure fandom to ransom money that would literally weigh more than a car, Rush Hour hides some truly bizarre secrets behind its high-octane action and laugh-out-loud comedy. One actor even kept filming with a broken ankle disguised as a shoe. Here are the 15 weird facts you didn't know about Rush Hour 1998. Fact 1. Rush Hour created Rotten Tomatoes. One of the most influential movie review websites in the world exists today because of one man's obsession with Jackie Chan movies and Rush Hour's upcoming release. Sen Duong was a massive Jackie Chan fan who had been collecting reviews of Chan's Hong Kong action films as they were being released in the United States throughout the 1990s. As someone who deeply appreciated Chan's work, Duong wanted to create an online space where all the scattered reviews from different critics and publications could be compiled in one convenient location. When Rush Hour was announced as Jackie Chan's first major Hollywood crossover film in 1998, Duong saw the perfect opportunity to launch his ambitious project. He knew this movie would generate significant critical attention and media coverage, making it the ideal moment to debut his review aggregation concept. Working with incredible speed and determination, Duong coded the entire Rotten Tomatoes website from scratch in just 2 weeks, racing to get the site live shortly before Rush Hour hit theaters. The timing was absolutely crucial because Duong understood that Rush Hour represented a pivotal moment for Jackie Chan's career in America. This wasn't just another Hong Kong film getting a limited release, but a major studio production designed to introduce Chan to mainstream American audiences. Duong wanted his website to be ready to capture every review, opinion, and critical assessment of this landmark film. The website launched just in time for Rush Hour's theatrical release on September 18, 1998. What started as one fan's passion project to track Jackie Chan movie reviews quickly evolved into something much bigger. After successfully compiling reviews for Rush Hour, Duong and his associates began expanding their coverage to include films starring other actors beyond Jackie Chan. The concept snowballed from there, eventually becoming the review aggregation powerhouse that millions of moviegoers rely on today. Without Rush Hour and Sen Duong's dedication to Jackie Chan's filmography, one of the most important tools for measuring movie success and critical reception might never have existed. The Rotten Tomatoes Tomatometer rating system that studios now use in advertising and award promotions can trace its origins directly back to a Jackie Chan superfan who wanted to organize movie reviews in 1998. Fact 2. Chris Farley was almost Lee. The Rush Hour movie we know and love almost starred Chris Farley in the role that eventually became Jackie Chan's Detective Inspector Lee, but the character would have been completely different from what audiences ultimately saw. During the very early stages of pre-production, before the script underwent major revisions, Chris Farley was seriously considered for what would have been a hapless white police officer, rather than the skilled Hong Kong inspector that Jackie Chan portrayed. This original concept would have completely changed the entire dynamic and cultural foundation of the film. Instead of pairing a disciplined Hong Kong martial arts expert with a fast-talking Los Angeles detective, the movie would have featured a bumbling white police officer teamed up with a smart-talking African-American officer. The fish-out-of-water comedy would have come from Farley's character being incompetent and out of his depth, rather than from the cultural clash and language barriers that defined the final version. After Chris Farley departed from the project, the filmmakers made the crucial decision to completely reimagine the character and the story's core concept. They rewrote the role to become a fish-out-of-water Chinese police officer who would be forced to come to the United States to help solve a case. This fundamental change transformed the entire premise from a buddy cop comedy about mismatched American partners into an international action comedy that could showcase martial arts and explore cross-cultural humor. Many news reports later connected Farley's departure from Rush Hour to his tragic death in December of 1997. But according to production sources, Farley and the filmmakers had actually decided several years earlier not to work together on the movie. The timing of his personal struggles coincided with the movie's development period, But the creative team was already leaning toward the ultimate casting choice of pairing one Asian actor with one African-American actor well before Farley's death. This casting change completely altered the trajectory of the Rush Hour franchise and likely contributed significantly to its success, as it allowed the filmmakers to tap into Jackie Chan's unique martial arts skills and international appeal while creating opportunities for genuine cultural comedy and spectacular action sequences. Fact 3. Tupac was considered for Carter. Before Chris Tucker landed the iconic role of Detective James Carter, the filmmakers considered an impressive lineup of comedic and dramatic talent that included one of hip-hop's most legendary figures. Tupac Shakur was in serious consideration for the co-lead role during the early casting process, which would have brought a completely different energy and approach to the fast-talking Los Angeles police detective character. The casting search for Detective Carter was extensive and included some of the biggest names in comedy and entertainment during the mid-1990s. Martin Lawrence was actually the original choice for the role and was strongly considered throughout much of the development process. Wesley Snipes, who had already established himself as an action star, was also in the running for the part, as were comedy powerhouses Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy, both of whom would have brought their own unique comedic styles to the character. Dave Chappelle was another serious contender for the role, representing the younger generation of stand-up comedians who were making the transition to film during that era. Each of these actors would have created a vastly different version of Detective Carter, potentially changing the entire tone and comedic approach of the movie. Eddie Murphy had actually been offered the role but chose to turn it down in order to make Holy Man in 1998 instead. The inclusion of Tupac Shakur in this list of potential actors is particularly fascinating because it shows the filmmakers were considering both comedic actors and dramatic performers who could bring street credibility and intensity to the role. Tupac had been building his acting resume with roles in films like Juice and Poetic Justice, demonstrating his ability to handle both dramatic and charismatic characters on screen. Ultimately, Chris Tucker's selection proved to be the perfect fit for the movie's specific brand of high-energy comedy and rapid-fire dialogue. His background in stand-up comedy and his experience with improvisation made him ideal for playing opposite Jackie Chan's more reserved and disciplined character, creating the dynamic contrast that became central to the film's success and spawned 2 sequels. Fact 4. Jackie nearly died from metal boxes. Jackie Chan came within a fraction of a second of losing his life while filming one of the most dangerous stunts in Rush Hour, when massive metal shipping containers nearly crushed his head during an action sequence. The stunt involved Jackie navigating through a narrow space between 2 heavy metal boxes that were designed to slam together with tremendous force, creating a deadly trap that required perfect timing and precise execution to survive. As with all of Jackie Chan's stunts, he insisted on performing this dangerous sequence himself rather than using a stunt double, despite the obvious life-threatening risks involved. The choreography required him to move through the gap between the containers at exactly the right moment, with only milliseconds to spare before the heavy metal boxes would crash together with enough force to cause fatal injuries. During the actual filming of this scene, the timing worked exactly as planned, but just barely. According to reports from the set, the massive metal containers slammed together approximately a quarter of a second after Jackie's head cleared the danger zone. This incredibly narrow margin for error demonstrates just how close the martial arts legend came to a catastrophic accident that could have ended his career and his life. The incident highlights the extreme risks that Jackie Chan routinely takes to create authentic action sequences for his films, even when working within the Hollywood studio system where safety protocols are typically much stricter than in his Hong Kong productions. Throughout his career, Chan has been known for refusing to use stunt doubles and insisting on performing even the most dangerous sequences himself, often resulting in serious injuries that have been documented in the outtake reels that traditionally appear during the closing credits of his movies. This particular near-death experience during Rush Hour filming serves as a reminder of the genuine physical dangers that Jackie Chan faces to deliver the spectacular action sequences that have made him one of the most respected action stars in cinema history. The fact that he continued with the production after such a close call demonstrates his legendary dedication to his craft and his commitment to giving audiences authentic, death-defying entertainment. Fact 5. The $50 million ransom is impossible. The $50 million ransom demand in Rush Hour contains a major mathematical impossibility that makes the entire premise physically unrealistic when you break down the actual logistics of transporting that much cash. During the memorable phone conversation between Chris Tucker's Detective Carter and the kidnapper Sang, the specific denominations are clearly outlined. $20 million in $50 bills, $20 million in $20 bills, and $10 million in $10 bills. When you calculate the actual number of individual bills required for this ransom payment, the total comes to a staggering 2,400,000 separate pieces of currency. $20 million in $50 bills would require 400,000 individual bills, while $20 million in $20 bills would need 1 million separate bills, and $10 million in $10 bills would demand another 1 million individual bills. The physical impossibility becomes clear when you consider that this massive quantity of paper money would never fit into the two standard-sized suitcases that the kidnappers and FBI agents casually carry around throughout the movie. Even if you could somehow compress and organize 2,400,000 bills with perfect efficiency, the volume would require containers significantly larger than typical luggage. The weight factor makes the scenario even more unrealistic for the characters who are shown effortlessly lifting and transporting the ransom money. Each individual dollar bill weighs approximately 1 gram, which means the complete $50 million ransom payment would weigh more than 5,200 pounds. That's roughly equivalent to the weight of a medium-sized car, making it physically impossible for any person to carry these suitcases, or even move them without heavy machinery. This oversight represents one of those classic movie moments where dramatic convenience takes precedence over real-world physics and mathematics. The filmmakers needed the ransom to be portable and manageable for the action sequences, so they simply ignored the practical realities of transporting such an enormous amount of physical currency. Chris Tucker's character even jokes during the phone call by asking if the kidnapper wants any fives with the order, treating the massive ransom demand like a fast food order. Fact 6. Jackie broke his ankle, kept filming. Jackie Chan actually broke his ankle while filming Rush Hour, but refused to let the injury stop production, instead finding a creative solution that allowed him to continue performing stunts and completing his scenes. This incident perfectly demonstrates the legendary dedication and work ethic that has made Jackie Chan one of the most respected action stars in cinema history, showing his willingness to push through serious pain to deliver the authentic performances his fans expect. The ankle injury occurred during one of the film's action sequences, likely while Jackie was performing one of his signature death-defying stunts that require precise timing and physical coordination. Rather than taking time off to properly heal or allowing a stunt double to take over his remaining scenes, Jackie made the remarkable decision to have a medical cast applied to his broken ankle, and then had the cast painted and disguised to look exactly like his regular shoe. This ingenious disguise allowed Jackie to continue filming without the audience ever knowing that he was performing stunts and fight scenes with a serious injury. The painted cast looked so convincing that viewers watching Rush Hour would never suspect that Jackie Chan was actually wearing a medical device designed to protect and stabilize his fractured ankle bone while he continued to perform physically demanding action sequences. The incident highlights the extreme lengths that Jackie Chan will go to in order to complete a film project and avoid disappointing his fans or causing delays in production schedules. Throughout his career, Jackie has suffered countless injuries, ranging from broken bones to concussions, burns, and even a skull fracture, yet he consistently chooses to continue working rather than taking the rest and recovery time that most actors would require. This particular example from Rush Hour shows how Jackie Chan's commitment to his craft extends beyond just performing dangerous stunts to include finding creative solutions that allow him to work through injuries. The fact that he was willing to wear a disguised cast and continue performing action scenes with a broken ankle demonstrates the incredible physical and mental toughness that has defined his decades-long career in action cinema. Fact 7. License plate Easter egg connection. Hidden in plain sight throughout Rush Hour is a subtle but significant detail that connects Detective Carter's personal vehicle directly to the kidnapping case he's trying to solve. Carter's black Corvette convertible and the van used to transport the consul's kidnapped daughter both share the same three-letter combination on their license plates, creating an unexpected link between the hero's car and the villain's vehicle. This matching license plate detail represents the kind of careful attention to visual storytelling that filmmakers sometimes include as Easter eggs for observant viewers who pay close attention to background elements during multiple viewings. The prop department would have had to deliberately coordinate this detail across different vehicles used in separate scenes, making it an intentional choice rather than a coincidence or oversight. Carter's Corvette appears frequently throughout the movie as his signature vehicle, representing his flashy personality and his desire to project an image of success and style as a Los Angeles police detective. The car becomes almost a character in itself, serving as the primary mode of transportation for both Carter and Jackie Chan's Inspector Lee as they navigate the streets of Los Angeles during their investigation. The kidnapper's van, meanwhile, serves as a crucial plot device and appears in several key scenes, including the initial abduction of the consul's daughter and later moments when the FBI and the protagonists are tracking down leads about her whereabouts. Having the same license plate combination creates a subtle visual connection between these two important vehicles. This type of hidden detail demonstrates how filmmakers layer additional meaning and connections into their movies that may not be immediately obvious to casual viewers, but reward those who look more carefully at the visual elements in each scene. The shared license plate combination could be interpreted as a symbolic connection between Carter's world and the criminal underworld he's fighting against, or simply as an interesting production choice that ties together different elements of the story in an unexpected way. Whether viewers notice this detail or not, it represents the kind of thoughtful prop work and attention to continuity that helps create a more cohesive and interconnected movie experience. Fact 8. The Corvette references LL Cool J. Detective Carter's signature black Corvette convertible in Rush Hour is actually a direct homage to a classic LL Cool J rap song from the late 1980s. The car serves as more than just a flashy vehicle for Chris Tucker's character. It's a deliberate reference to LL Cool J's hit song Going Back to Cali, which contains specific lyrics describing a black Corvette convertible with distinctive chrome Dayton rims. In the LL Cool J song, the rapper describes driving a black Corvette with the top down, and mentions that the car looks particularly impressive because it's equipped with Dayton wire wheels. The filmmakers of Rush Hour paid careful attention to these exact details when selecting and customizing Carter's vehicle, ensuring that it matched the description from the song perfectly. Carter's Corvette appears throughout the movie as a black convertible that is consistently shown with its top down, exactly as described in the LL Cool J lyrics. The car is also fitted with chrome Dayton rims, which are the specific type of wire wheels mentioned in the song. These Dayton wheels are a distinctive style that was particularly popular in urban car culture during the 1980s and 1990s. This musical reference adds an extra layer of cultural authenticity to Carter's character, connecting him to the hip-hop and urban culture that would have been familiar to audiences in 1998. The choice to model his car after the vehicle described in a popular rap song helps establish Carter as someone who is deeply connected to street culture and contemporary music trends. The reference also demonstrates how the filmmakers were thinking about Carter's character beyond just the dialogue and action sequences, using visual elements like his choice of vehicle to communicate aspects of his personality and cultural background. The fact that they took the time to ensure the car matched the specific details from the LL Cool J song shows the level of attention they paid to creating an authentic representation of a flashy Los Angeles police detective who wants to project a certain image through his personal style and possessions. Fact 9. recycled Jackie Chan stunts and gags. Several of Inspector Lee's most memorable comedic moments and action sequences in Rush Hour were actually recycled from Jackie Chan's previous Hong Kong films, with director Brett Ratner deliberately choosing to reuse these elements because American audiences would not have seen the original movies. This strategic decision allowed the filmmakers to present Jackie Chan's best material to a new audience, while ensuring that Rush Hour would showcase his most entertaining and crowd-pleasing moments. Director Brett Ratner was a massive fan of Jackie Chan's Hong Kong filmography and understood that most American moviegoers in 1998 had limited exposure to Chan's extensive catalog of action comedies from Asia. At the time, very few of Jackie Chan's Hong Kong films had received wide theatrical releases in the United States, creating an opportunity to present his greatest hits to an entirely new audience who would experience these gags and stunts for the first time. Ratner and Jackie Chan worked together to carefully select their favorite moments from his previous films and incorporate them into Rush Hour's script and action sequences. This process involved identifying the most successful comedic beats, physical gags, and stunt work from Chan's earlier movies, and finding ways to adapt them for the American buddy cop format while maintaining their original charm and effectiveness. One specific example of this recycling process involves the scene where Inspector Lee accidentally grabs Detective Johnson's chest area, which was directly adapted from a similar comedic moment in Jackie Chan's 1997 film Mr. Nice Guy. The filmmakers recognized that this type of physical comedy worked well with Chan's innocent and apologetic screen persona, so they recreated the gag in a new context for American audiences. This approach allowed Rush Hour to benefit from years of Jackie Chan's experience in developing and refining his signature style of action comedy, while also ensuring that the movie would feature proven material that had already been tested with audiences in Hong Kong. The strategy worked effectively because it gave American viewers access to the best elements of Jackie Chan's filmmaking without requiring them to seek out his earlier, less accessible foreign films. Fact 10. Tucker's improvisation. Confused Jackie. Jackie Chan found Chris Tucker's frequent improvisation on set to be genuinely problematic and often confusing, creating unexpected challenges during filming that stemmed from their language barrier and different approaches to performance. As a stand-up comedian accustomed to thinking on his feet and adapting his material in real time, Tucker loved to deviate from the written script and create spontaneous dialogue, but this created serious difficulties for his co-star, who was still developing his English-speaking abilities. Rush Hour represented a significant milestone for Jackie Chan because it was the first Hollywood film where he had to memorize and deliver lines in English rather than learning them phonetically or having his voice dubbed over in post-production. This meant that Jackie had spent considerable time and effort preparing his dialogue exactly as written in the script, making Tucker's spontaneous changes particularly challenging to navigate during actual filming. When Chris Tucker would suddenly improvise new dialogue or change the planned conversation, Jackie often found himself unable to understand what his co-star was saying, especially when Tucker spoke quickly or used slang expressions that weren't familiar to someone still mastering English as a second language. This language barrier made it difficult for Jackie to respond appropriately or maintain the natural flow of their scenes together. Director Brett Ratner noted that during the scene at Grauman's Chinese Theater where Detective Carter bribes his informant Stuckey for information, there was so much improvisation between Tucker and actor John Hawkes that the editing team almost couldn't piece together a coherent conversation from the footage they had captured. The extensive improvisation created continuity errors in the dialogue that are still visible in the final version of the film. Despite these challenges, Tucker's improvisation also contributed some of the movie's most memorable and funny moments, even though it made Jackie Chan nervous and uncertain about how to respond during filming. This tension between Tucker's spontaneous comedy style and Jackie's need for structured, predictable dialogue created an interesting behind-the-scenes dynamic that contrasted with their effective on-screen chemistry. Fact 11. The restaurant still advertises the film. The Fu Chow restaurant in Los Angeles' Chinatown, where Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker filmed one of Rush Hour's most memorable action sequences, is a real, functioning restaurant that continues to capitalize on its Hollywood connection more than 25 years after the movie's release. As of August 2024, the restaurant still proudly displays a sign stating that Rush Hour was shot there, serving as a permanent reminder of the establishment's brief moment in cinema history. During the filming of Rush Hour, the production team used both the interior and exterior of the actual Fu Chow restaurant for the crucial scene where Detective Carter gets captured while investigating leads about the kidnapped consul's daughter. The restaurant served as the setting for an elaborate fight sequence where Inspector Lee had to rescue Carter from the criminals, showcasing Jackie Chan's martial arts skills in an authentic Chinatown location. The filmmakers chose to shoot inside the real restaurant rather than building a set, which gave the scene a genuine atmosphere that would have been difficult to recreate on a studio soundstage. The interior of the Fu Chow restaurant appears extensively in the film, and according to location reports, it still looks very similar today to how it appeared during the 1998 filming. The upstairs area of the restaurant, which was shown as a criminal hideout that gets completely destroyed during Jackie Chan's fight scene, was actually a specially constructed set rather than the real second floor of the establishment. This allowed the filmmakers to create the elaborate action sequence without damaging the actual restaurant's property or disrupting their normal business operations. The restaurant's decision to maintain its Rush Hour signage for more than 2 decades demonstrates the lasting impact that a single film location can have on a local business. By continuing to advertise its connection to the popular movie, the Fu Chow restaurant has likely attracted countless tourists and movie fans who want to visit the actual location where Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker filmed their scenes, turning their brief Hollywood experience into a long-term marketing advantage. Fact 12. Tucker and Chan's real-life meeting mirrored the film. Jackie Chan revealed that the scene where Inspector Lee first encounters Detective Carter in Rush Hour was remarkably similar to how he and Chris Tucker actually met in real life during the casting process. According to Chan, their initial meeting at the offices of the William Morris Agency captured the same energy and dynamic that would later be recreated for their characters' first encounter in the movie. The William Morris Agency was one of Hollywood's most powerful talent agencies during the 1990s, representing major stars and handling high-profile film projects. It was at their offices that Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker were brought together to meet each other and discuss the possibility of working together on Rush Hour, allowing the filmmakers to see how their personalities would mesh before making final casting decisions. During this real-life meeting, the contrast between Jackie Chan's reserved, polite demeanor and Chris Tucker's high energy, talkative personality apparently created the same kind of amusing culture clash that the filmmakers wanted to capture in their buddy cop comedy. Chan observed that Tucker's rapid-fire speaking style and animated gestures during their first conversation reminded him of the dynamic they would later portray on screen. This real-life chemistry between the two actors helped convince the filmmakers that they had found the right pairing for their movie, as their natural personalities already contained the elements of conflict and comedy that the script required. The fact that their authentic interaction mirrored what the characters were supposed to experience made it easier for both actors to bring genuine reactions and responses to their performances. The similarity between their real meeting and their scripted first encounter also suggests that the filmmakers may have incorporated elements of the actors' actual personalities and communication styles into the final script. This blending of real-life dynamics with fictional character development helped create the authentic chemistry that made Rush Hour successful and led to 2 sequels featuring the same pairing of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in their respective roles as Inspector Lee and Detective Carter. Fact 13. Massive TV censorship for language. When Rush Hour was broadcast on TBS television in 2001, the network made extensive alterations to the film that went far beyond typical language censorship, creating a significantly different viewing experience from the original theatrical version. The changes were so comprehensive that they affected not only profanity and sexual content, but also politically sensitive dialogue, and even some of the film's famous outtake sequences that typically appear during Jackie Chan movie credits. The most obvious alterations involved language censorship, where TBS completely removed every instance of profanity throughout the entire movie. Every use of the word that sounds like shift was completely eliminated and replaced with alternative words like stuff or it, while uses of the word that sounds like class were significantly limited throughout the film. This created some awkward dialogue transitions where characters' sentences were clearly edited or dubbed over with different words. Beyond language changes, TBS also removed several physical comedy scenes that were considered inappropriate for television audiences. The scene at the police station where Carter apologizes to Detective Johnson for spreading Christmas rumors about them sleeping together was heavily edited, specifically removing the part where Lee accidentally places his hands on Johnson's chest area and the subsequent awkward reaction from all three characters. Some of the most surprising changes involved politically motivated alterations to dialogue that had nothing to do with profanity or sexual content. In one scene where Carter examines explosives, his original reference to a specific Middle Eastern country was changed to Americans instead, reflecting the network's concerns about potentially offensive geopolitical references during a time of increased sensitivity about international conflicts. The television version also shortened and removed many of the famous outtakes that traditionally appear during Jackie Chan movie credits, including scenes where Chan makes mistakes during stunts or blows his lines during filming. Even Jackie Chan's memorable outtake where he talks about his father was significantly shortened for the television broadcast, removing some of the authentic behind-the-scenes content that fans expect from his films. Fact 14. Jackie Chan hates the movie. Despite Rush Hour becoming one of the biggest box office successes of 1998 and launching a profitable franchise that made Jackie Chan a household name in America, the martial arts legend has been surprisingly candid about his personal feelings toward the film. Jackie Chan has openly stated that he still doesn't like the movie, expressing genuine dissatisfaction with his performance and the overall experience of making his first major Hollywood buddy cop comedy. Chan's primary complaints about Rush Hour center around the language barriers and communication difficulties that plagued the production from start to finish. He has specifically mentioned that he doesn't like the way he speaks English in the film, feeling self-conscious about his accent and pronunciation when delivering dialogue in his second language. This insecurity about his English-speaking performance made him uncomfortable watching the finished movie and reflecting on his work. Adding to his frustration was his ongoing confusion about Chris Tucker's rapid-fire dialogue and frequent improvisation throughout filming. Chan has admitted that he often couldn't understand what Tucker was saying during their scenes together, which made it difficult for him to respond naturally or feel confident in their comedic exchanges. This communication barrier created stress and uncertainty for Chan during what should have been enjoyable collaborative moments with his co-star. Perhaps most significantly, Jackie Chan has expressed disappointment with the limited amount of martial arts action in Rush Hour compared to his Hong Kong films. He prefers the movies he made in his native Hong Kong because they featured much more extensive fight sequences and allowed him greater creative freedom to showcase his signature acrobatic fighting style. Chan has noted that his Hong Kong movies typically contained continuous 10-minute fighting sequences that demonstrated his full range of martial arts abilities. While Chan acknowledges and respects the commercial success that Rush Hour achieved at the box office, earning over $240 million worldwide, he clearly feels that the film didn't represent his best work or allow him to demonstrate the skills that made him famous in Asian cinema markets. Fact 15. Rush Hour set box office records. Rush Hour achieved remarkable box office success that shattered multiple records when it opened in theaters during September of 1998, proving that audiences were hungry for the unique combination of Jackie Chan's martial arts action and Chris Tucker's rapid-fire comedy. The film opened at number 1 at the North American box office, with an impressive $33 million weekend gross, immediately establishing itself as a major hit that exceeded all industry expectations for a September release. This opening weekend performance allowed Rush Hour to surpass The First Wives Club to claim the record for the highest September opening weekend in movie history. September had traditionally been considered a weaker month for major film releases, as studios typically saved their biggest blockbusters for summer and holiday periods when audiences were more likely to attend theaters in large numbers. The film also broke New Line Cinema's internal record by surpassing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to achieve the biggest opening weekend in the studio's history up to that point. This accomplishment was particularly significant for New Line Cinema because it demonstrated their ability to produce and market a major mainstream hit that could compete with releases from larger, more established studios. Rush Hour's September opening weekend record proved to have impressive staying power, maintaining that distinction for 3 full years, until Sweet Home Alabama finally surpassed it in 2002. The film continued its box office dominance by remaining at #1 for 2 consecutive weeks before being displaced by the animated film Ants. The following June, Rush Hour's New Line Cinema opening weekend record was broken by Austin Powers, but the film had already established itself as a franchise-launching success that would lead to 2 profitable sequels. Overall, Rush Hour grossed $141.2 million in the United States and Canada, with an additional $104.1 million internationally, for a total worldwide gross of $245.3 million against a production budget of just $35 million.